Ladies and gentlemen, hello! I just filmed a video with heckin' integrity, and it was so long and a little monolithic, and it was like, came out of nowhere, and I was like, what? That was kind of a cool video, but it was monolithic, and it took so much. And it wasn't even the thing that I wanted to do today, not really, because there was one thing I wanted to do today, which was this video, and then I wanted to go make other videos for Resonant, because there's just like other things that I have to do today. And so now I have to reset after my last video by talking about this video, but actually I think maybe that's going to help make this video a little bit more what this video needs to be, because I want this video to be a little bit fun, and I want fun after my last filming session. So we're going to talk for a little bit about how I think that I want to have a cute VR furry boyfriend for my next relationship. Let's get to it. First, the setup. I was recently perusing furry art, as one is wont to do. And I went to actually, I know I shouldn't, the naughty side of things, where people are like, they're holding hands and talking about like, oh, I think I like you, and just being really cute and wholesome. And I know I shouldn't. We don't like talking about that part of the furry fandom. But what can I say? I had a moment of weakness, and I wasn't really looking that kind of stuff up, but that's just what the subreddits were giving to me, and that's what I was consuming, and it got the head kind of thinking, because I haven't had a part of life like that for a really long time. Because exploring sexuality is something you only really do once. And I suppose like if you're bisexual, then learning how to like branch out with the other gender that you're not familiar with, that could be kind of like a special thing. And I've kind of run that gamut a little bit. But all of those pictures that I was viewing and just kind of turning around in my head about like, I think I like you, and it's a really secret and special relationship, and you get those cute little butterflies, and you can have that with any relationship. But part of what helped me frame it in this video kind of way is I was spending some quality time with the gentleman of the harem video quite some time ago, and we had a very lovely evening. It was a remarkable evening. But I couldn't help but notice how not necessarily mechanical it was, but there is no sense of, well, cuddle in our undies and then you're like feeling each other up or whatever. And it's just very much, oh yeah, sure, we have clothes and we should just stop that, you know? Um, and it's just two people who are very practiced in performing the tango, the two-person naked tango, inside of a bed. Um, and it's just, two professionals, I suppose. Let's get down to business and let's have some, thoroughly engaging business. But there's a whole missing piece there, and maybe that has to do with the partners that I have selected recently. But I think just with experience levels, it would be very hard for me to slow down and to want to spend time with someone where it's like kind of their first time, and it's, a really gentle and special thing for them, because in the position of a professional, more or less, it's like, well, let's just, we have clothes on, let's stop that. And I don't think I can undo that mentality. It's just part of me. Like, I enjoy sex, and I don't love not. For me, it's harder, it's less enjoyable if someone also doesn't know, like, let's get up to speed, let's get to the good stuff. um and that's just where I am on my levels of bedroom themed recreation. That's my mentality towards it. That's what I've just Anyway, what I'm basically trying to say is that those types of sexual moments, where like the build up and stuff, like, I've learned that part, and it's never going to be really special even with someone I really like. It won't be special in that way. It can't be special in that way. There's a nostalgia factor there. You can't go back to behaviors you've had. You can't relive the past there. That's super dangerous to even try to do something like that. I can't experience that again for the first time. It's really fun looking at art pieces of people experiencing that for the first time, and I kind of get the feel goods from that. But I was thinking through what a shame it is that because I came of age and started learning more about myself and exploring my sexuality in not the best of circumstances. But I think that's also just growing up generally. I don't think anyone really has a super great. I can't really even say that. Or maybe it's just a trope of people who are gay often that it just takes, like, it was a lot to go through. And it certainly didn't measure up to what you see in all of those cute little furry pictures that I've been talking about. And I am going to acknowledge that nothing ever matches up to what you think it's going to be. Nothing can ever match up to the furry pictures that you see, not even reality, if it's your first time doing it because you've built it up in your head through the picture. I acknowledge that and I'm ignoring that. We're just going to push on through the video, but we do understand that there's a huge missing element to this argument that I'm about to make. But it sucks and it takes too long to go into that, and it's not the fun part. So we go past it. It did not take me very long of rumination after coming to this, like, wow, it'd be sure cool if I could experience that, and with more intentionality, because I had no intentionality when I was experiencing it for the first time. Life was way too chaotic and all over the place. Pretty swiftly, I adopt this strange idea. I don't know what to think about it. Because long distance relationships have never made sense to me. I struggle way too much with it, and flirting online at any point. Like I've engaged in some of the adult oriented, role plays and stuff. And that's been fun on and off, but that's just a little bit fun. Like actually doing that and having an online relationship, I don't think I could pull off. It just is not it I don't get that. But for the longest time, neither did I get what it's like to be myself in virtual reality. Neither, especially neither, did I know what it's like to be myself in the real world. I still don't know that part. I'm learning it, getting a little bit better at it. But I am more myself as Phineas Former than I am as the human who walks around and goes to jobs, and even the one who hangs out with friends and goes to bars and have some drinks now and then in programs or whatever it is that I do. The behaviors and the things that I say and the person I am here is far more aligned to what I want to do than what I actually do in the human world. And because I've never really, I mean, we all see where I'm going with this already, and I don't even know how I feel about it because it's kind of a lot like the implications are huge to me. Because I'm so new to expressing myself and being open and honest and operating with integrity, and I've yet to meet someone who has seen my videos because this is a pretty keen window into who I am, what the inner thoughts are, and Phineas Former is that. And so like there's a whole bunch going on there. So the idea that like there's a catalog which exists now, which is a pretty good examination of some of the places that I've been physically as I tell those sorts of stories, but then also just glimpses into who and what I am with videos like this and videos like a lot of my videos, which is just, if you want to see who I am and how I choose to express myself, that is perfectly available. And I really like that catalog of content for me to watch, even because I love my videos so much, most of them. And they're really super duper fun to make. And it's just really fun expressing myself, practicing expressing myself, stuff like that. And I don't think I've ever, it's rare at least, uh, I've had a few moments of it even inside of VR on certain like streams and stuff. Like it has happened and it is happening more frequently and it's so strange. But interacting with people under the mentality of being myself is new. I think at this point in life, that is something I should have under my belt already. Probably most people, by this point in life, have a pretty good idea of what it's like to interact with other people while operating as yourself. I don't really have that experience. I have like my one bestest friend in the whole entire world who like has always just seen me for who I am, and I'll come at him with so much like, "Oh, the suffering of the world," and he's like, "Okay, let's just like what?" and just sees all the way through it. And I was like, what? But outside of that, like I just it's not something that I've had, and I know how to handle relationships in the real world. And okay, I can't say that. There have been moments and some people I've met in my life with whom I have had that kind of connection. Um, but it's different. I don't really expect that's territory we'll get to. Anyway, real quick, I completely forgot where I just barely was because I remembered I have to pay credence to who I am, where I've been, what's happened, the people that I've met in life, etc. That I have had some of these experiences in the real world, but not under the best of circumstances, and they didn't lead to the best of circumstances because I'm a full grown ass adult, and the way that I've learned to find myself is by being a virtual kitty cat on the internet. So there's some stuff going on here, which kind of helped that be the case. So I need to amend everything I've been saying so far. I have had some of those experiences, and I've learned from those experiences, which is part of why going back like that can't exist. And so, in a lot of ways, I never really had the experience. Like, I grew past what it was, which is what I'm trying to say. So, let's try to get back on track. I just had to, be upfront, even just with myself, about some of where I've been. Yeah. And I don't think I can get right back to where I was after that quick little interjection I just did. I a little bit forgot what I was talking about. But I know that it had to do with cute furry images, and it also had to do with Phineas Former and being inside a virtual reality. And then, real quick little side note, there is one boy I have met recently in the physical world who's just super duper not emotionally available, even a little bit. He reminds me of me like 3 years ago, which is not a good place to be. Highly inaccessible. And so that's just like a poor timing thing. So that's just super duper tabled, not even worried about it. Plus, I'm so busy lately because I love doing what I'm doing so much that I made another YouTube channel about it, and I'm learning VR and I'm learning how to socialize. Like, I don't really have time for a boyfriend right now, so not even in the market for that. But theorizing what it would be like to grow in this direction is interesting to me. I think I would have so much to learn. Because I know that people do have relationships online with people that they met in VR. And in particular, with my time in Resonite, it hits so different than any other VR experience. I feel differently towards the friends I've met in VR than I do, like in Resonite, than I do otherwise. Like, I'm just meeting people, and it hits different than it ever has before. So I don't know if it's even possible or what it would look like for me to have a VR relationship. But if I really wanted what those like furry pictures bring to mind and what that body of heart is, it like, oh, will they or won't they? And you're like super nervous and like because I have had some of that experience in life, and that's a terrible place to be. It feels uncomfortable, it's rough, and you have to like trust the other person, and it's like I don't know. And you say that you want that experience, but then like, do you really? Because that's hellacious. But I do kind of want that experience, and I feel like nostalgia towards it, and it just sounds really fun, but it's like, well, you can't go there again. But kind of, you can go there for the first time if I did it in VR. I don't anticipate actually doing that, but for the first time, I acknowledge that it could be an interesting idea to entertain. I am not soliciting anybody. I am not like saying I'm available. I am super duper not right now. But I never in a million gazillion years would have imagined even entertaining the idea of being in a VR relationship. But I know there's people who go on dates in VR, people who have met in VR. Like, I know that's something which takes place. It sounds like something that would be super new to me, kind of interesting to engage in and examine, and being really open and vulnerable and honest to someone, but it's online, but it's in VR, so it's like their body of emotionality as they've chosen to present themselves in the virtual world, as I also have chosen to present myself as this in the virtual world. There's so much there to learn, and it would be so new, and I would be so nervous. And I kind of like that though, because I'm growing when I'm nervous and it's a new system to learn. And then you're like learning to trust people again. And there's so much possibility there. And part of me really does hope that I end up in a sweet, cute little virtual relationship, because that would just be the perfect story arc for Phineas Former. I would love that for Phineas Former. I am Phineas Former. So eh, eh. And that's the entire video. That is the entire video. I just wanted to talk about I very well might end up in my next relationship if I meet the right person. Virtually. I don't even know how that would happen. I don't know how that would happen. But if it ever did, I would be open to the idea, and that is absurd to me. I've that is the video. Just as I learn a little bit more about who I am, I'm always just really surprised about who I am and what I find. And sometimes I find things that's like, that one maybe should have stayed deeply hidden, because I don't know what to feel about that. That's just not something I had ever even allowed myself to consider. And considering it now, I was like, what? 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 Okay. No, I'm not even going to close out the video just yet, because I want to make a case for the argument. Um, I don't really fit in with people, not even like when I've gone to fur meets. It's just, I don't know. And maybe no one fits in because I don't know what anyone else looks like, so everyone feels super isolated, but then they're all spending time together because it feels less lonely, marginally so, being with other people who are also questionably as lonely as you, and there's just so much going on there. But even then, in the town I live, it's pretty small, so the furry community is pretty small, and I've tried meeting a few of them a few times, and I'm just not into it. And if you live in just that very small group, like, it's hard. And you're limited in how many people you can meet because geographically there's not going to be very many people around. And with VR, and Resonate in particular, but being a global platform, that's a whole bunch of people you could meet on the daily, and I have been meeting people practically on the daily, and you're guaranteed to have something in common. Not only the furry fandom, and it wouldn't have to be a furry, I suppose, but let's face it, I'm a kitty cat, and I want to hang out with other kitty cats. But you're guaranteed to have in common that you love VR, which is more than only having the furry fandom in common, I think. This is more of a specific, I don't know, thing. So you're meeting more people, more opportunities to be more of yourself because you can express yourself in unique ways in VR. Like, there's just a lot of options and possibilities there that I never had considered, never understood, never acknowledged, and that's the entirety of this video. I don't know what to do with that whole thought experiment, but when I realized that I was looking at the cute furry pictures of, cute little boyfriends exploring what their relationships are for the first time, and it's like, oh, I would want that. And it's like, Phineas Former, you can't have that. And I was like, wait, what? And then I had to make a video about it, and so I did. Hope you liked the video about it. I'm gonna go, it's gonna be hard. I'm gonna go walk out of frame. I'm gonna go that way, because I have more room in my play space to walk out of frame if I go that way. But there is a bed right there, and that might like bump into that and mess me up a little. So let's see. Wish me luck walking out of the frame. And if I do end up meeting the right person in the virtual world, wish me luck there. And that seems deeply uncommon and unlikely. But even acknowledging that there's a possibility of it is new and fantastic and so strange to me. And I wanted to let you guys know all about it. Bye.